We're good? Yeah, we're good? Okay. So tonight we're going to learn about the sign of Cancer. And first we have to ask a few questions. And why the name Cancer was chosen for this constellation? You know that in Hebrew, Cancer is Sartan. It's the same word that you use in Arabic and Farsi, Sartan. And we know that there are three things that has the name Cancer. There is, of course, sign of Cancer. There is an animal, Cancer, and then there is a disease, God forbid, disease of Cancer. This name was chosen by Abraham Avinu 4,500 years ago when he wrote the Book of Formation, Sefer Yetzirah, which is the very first book that we have in Hebrew. He picked this name. He called this constellation Cancer. Why such a name? Why such a harsh name was chosen to be the name of this constellation? What does it have to do with the animal and what does it have to do with the disease? And tonight we'll learn that. And we know that there are two Hebrew letters that controls the sign of Cancer and the month of Tammuz. The month is called Tammuz in Hebrew. And Tammuz itself in Hebrew doesn't have any significant meaning to it. If you remember when we were talking about Gemini, each month the name has some significance in it, but the name Tammuz by itself in Hebrew doesn't have any significance to it. Why? And there are two letters that control this one. The letter Chet, which is, let me see if I can find the letter Chet here. Here, the letter Chet created the constellation of Cancer, and letter Tav created the planet of Moon. Moon, if you remember, we learned that there are 7 planets in the Milky Way, in our solar system, that they rules the 12 signs. There are 2 signs. One is Cancer, that is only ruled by one planet, Moon, and the sign that we're going to study next week, Leo, is ruled by the Sun. Sun only rules Leo, and Moon only rules Cancer. Why? And you know, there is a story in the Torah that when Moses was born, his mom hid him for 3 months, kept him in hiding for 3 months. And it may make sense as far as the story goes, but in Kabbalah we learn that these 3 months that the Torah talks about, these 3 months are actually, we have 3 months in Hebrew calendar that considered to be a negative month. And when we say negative, it doesn't necessarily mean bad. It means, you know, there are 2 poles, the positive pole and a negative pole, the giving pole and a receiving pole. These 3 months, which are Tammuz, Leo, and Capricorn, Tevet, these 3 months considered to be the negative months. And maybe you may think that maybe because of the disease of Cancer, but we'll learn why this month considered to be a negative month. And actually tonight, as I explained before, tonight is the full moon of Cancer. The energy of Cancer tonight reaches its maximum amount of potential. And this is the first month of the summer. So far we studied Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, which considered to be the season of spring. And if you look at the 4 letter of the Hebrew alphabet that creates the name of God, the Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, we finished the Yud. Now we're beginning to dwell into the second name of the Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, which is the Hey. Hey is repeated in the name of Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. We have Yud, Hey, and then Vav, Hey. The first Hey refers to the Sephirah of Binah, the energy store. And the month of the season of summer, the three months that there are in the summer are referred as to the Hey of Binah. The first one is the cancer. So it sits on the right column energy. So it has, the inner energy is what? Is water. You remember the first column, the right column is water. The left column, the second month, the inner energy is fire. And the third month, which is the central column, the inner energy is air. So Cancer, it's considered to be a water sign. Its internal energy is water, and the external energy is water. That makes Cancer the most powerful sign of all the three signs which are considered to be water signs. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means that it's the most intense water sign that we have. And something happens during this month. On the 17th day of the month of Tammuz, which is 3 days from now, the energy shifts itself. The energy of the moon, the energy of this month changes itself. It becomes very, very heavy. And from the 17th day of the Tammuz until the 9th day of the month of Av, these 3 weeks considered to be very, very difficult weeks. And what happened historically is on the 17th day of the month of Tammuz, when we had the first Bet HaMikdash, the first Bet HaMikdash in English is what is
Holy Temple.
The Holy Temple. They surrounded the Bet HaMikdash. They surrounded the Holy Temple the very first time. They started surrounding the city on the 17th day of the month of Tammuz, and on the 9th of Av, 3 weeks later, they took over the city and they burned the Bet HaMikdash. The Romans did. So maybe historically we think that because of what happened, these 3 weeks are considered to be heavy. But in reality, what happens is, there is an aspect of life force. There is an aspect of God called Shekhinah. Have you guys heard the name Shekhinah?
Yeah.
Shekhinah is the female aspect of the life force. It's a female aspect of God. If you consider God as being male and a female, there are aspects of the life force which is considered to be male, like the father figure. Like father provides things, creates things, brings things, the blessing. But then we have Shekhinah. Shekhinah is the female aspect of God. It's the motherly aspect of God. The protection shield that the life force creates, it comes from the Shekhinah, the female aspect of God. Just like a mom who takes care of the baby, brings protection, like the father screams and the mom says, no, the baby is okay, or the mom is more protective than the father. That's called the Shekhinah. That's the female aspect of God. And they say that during these 3 weeks, the Shekhinah concealed herself. I always give this example in astrology classes. When a mom takes their first child to the school, the first day of the school for the child, what does she do? She brings her baby to school, and they put the baby in the class, and she says bye, leaving, and the child thinks that the mom is gone. But the mom doesn't really leave, goes behind the door, stays behind the door, makes sure the baby is okay. The baby thinks the mom is not there, and the mom stays behind the door, makes sure the baby is okay, and the baby, the baby may even cry, I want my mommy, but they don't let her go back into the room because they want the baby to be on herself or on himself, to learn to be independent, to be on their own. That's what happens from the 17th day of the month of Tammuz until the 9th of Av. The Shekhinah, that protection shield of the light force that brings protection for us, watches over us, concealed herself, I should say. So we don't have that protection element anymore during these 3 weeks. And that's why the light force is very, very strong. That's why we stay away from the things that might create short circuit, because Now I don't have the protection shield. It's like being in the sun without sunscreen or umbrella or something. We're naked. We're like simply under the influence of the light force without any form of protection. That's why we behave the way we behave during these 3 weeks. That's why we stay calm, we stay passive. We don't get into argument, we don't get into fighting, we don't get into decision making. We don't do anything. Generally, there is no wedding. There is these 3 weeks. Everybody who wants to have wedding or engagement, they do it right before the 17th of Tammuz, and then right after the 9th of Av. The reason is because the protection shield is concealed, it's hidden. It's not necessarily gone, but it's concealed itself. The light gives us an opportunity to be on our own. So that's what's happening in the month of Tammuz. Now, to understand the constellation of Cancer, and let's get into the characteristic of the people who are born in this month. And at get-go, I should tell you that the Cancer is the most sensitive sign of the zodiac. I mean, all the water signs are sensitive. The fire signs are sensitive as well too. I mean, all the signs, they have sensitivity, but the level of sensitivity of the Cancer is the highest, most sensitive sign of the zodiac. They're very much connected to home and family. They really, really care about home and family. For a Cancer, home is like a temple. It's very sacred. They love home, they care about home. It's very important to them. They care very much for their family members. A Cancer mom takes care of the baby like you don't see any other mom. They're very, very protective. You know those moms that they run around the babies who are not necessarily skinny, but they keep feeding them. They think that the baby is skinny. You know, she hasn't eaten anything all day, and there's like topoli, you know, and he's very topoli. Oh no, he doesn't. One more bite. That's a Cancer mom. They love to feed. They love to protect. They love to bring that protection feeling for their family. Cancers are famous to have a very, very sophisticated sense of humor. If you remember, we talked about Tauruses, that they laugh at silly things. You know, if you watch movies that they are very simple and people laugh, those are Tauruses. I mean, somebody falls, Taurus starts laughing. Silly things makes Taurus laugh. Not necessarily for a Cancer. People who are born in this month are very sophisticated. They love humor. They are generally themselves, they have a very sophisticated sense of humor. They love things that has depth into the reason behind things that they are funny. And they love to laugh. They love to laugh. I have a Cancer friend who every time he calls, the first 10-15 minutes, we just laugh. We just laugh. And then after 10-15 minutes, we go, I called you for a good reason. Then we start talking. Every time we get together, it's all about laughing, and he has the most amazing sense of humor. And when I tell him a joke that is not very funny, he goes, that was stupid, it's not funny. And then he changes the joke. He makes it beautiful, and then we start laughing. You love being around Cancers. They're really, really fun to be around with. They like people to be around them. They love to be a center of attention among friends, parties, and all that. They love to be loved. They need to be in love. Cancer is always in love. Cancer loves to be loved. Love is the name of the game for Cancer. Love, emotion, that's what Cancer is all about. They need to be in love. They want to be in love. They want people to love them. Not only they love things and they're in love, they want people to love them. They care people to love them. They're very influenced by mood. Mood swings, that's Cancer. They're happy 1 minute, and then they may not happy 10 minutes later or half an hour later. And when they are happy, they make everybody happy. When a Cancer is happy, when they're having fun, they're the fire of the party. They're the lights of the party. Everybody laughs, everybody's having fun. And if they get depressed, God forbid if they get depressed, they stay in that depression for a long, long time, and they bring everybody down with them. They love to bring everybody down with them. So one thing you have to understand, the inner energy of the Cancer is water. Their exterior energy is water too. And you throw, imagine a cup of water, a glass of water, you throw something into that water, and it goes all the way down. There's no resistance in the water. That's how the Cancer is. They're deep into their feeling, deep into their emotions, and they bring everybody with them into their emotion. Very, very roller coaster kind of behavior. If they are happy now, doesn't mean that they're going to stay happy the rest of the day. Something's going to happen, and they fall deeply into sadness or, God forbid, to depression. And it's interesting, you can predict their behavior. You can predict their behavior. It's very easy to predict. If you remember, we talked about Gemini, that you could not predict what's going to happen next. With Cancer, you can predict what's going to happen. One thing that's so amazing about Cancer, that they live in their imagination. They live in their imagination. They have a very, very strong sense of imagination. They live in past. They imagine about future. They remember things from the past. They remember people's behavior from the past. They remember stories. They remember your birthday. They remember what you did to them. They remember the good things, and they definitely remember the bad things. If they ever got hurt 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I mean, you guys are not that old. My friend is that old, so he remembers when I said something to him 40 years ago. They remember it. And they always talk about past. They always talk about what if, what could have been, what should have been. And they do have a strong imagination of what tomorrow is going to bring, what's going to be, how tomorrow is going to be, and they have this amazing imagination about the future. Cancers don't get excited. They don't get too excited easily. Things has to be really meaningful for them to get excited about something. You go see a movie with a Cancer. If the movie is not extraordinary, that doesn't move a Cancer. If it's not really funny, if it's not amazingly funny, it's very ordinary for them. They are the best student of human behavior. Best student of human behavior. They can look at people and know everything about people. By the way you are, by the way you look, by the way you say, they feel you. They feel you, and they can predict what you're going to say. They're going to understand how you behave. It's so interesting is that they're the best investigators of human behavior. They love to learn about people. When they sit with you, this is so amazing. When they sit with you, all of a sudden you open up to them. You tell them everything. You cannot hide anything from them. They sit and they are such great listener, or they have this power that they bring everything out of you. When you sit with a cancer, your deepest secret comes out. But then guess what? They don't do the same thing. You cannot get their secret out. Their secret is for themselves. They want to know everything about you. You will reveal everything to them, but don't expect them to reveal anything to you. And this is so amazing. You know, I have so many friends and families of cancers that are all around me, and they all have this, they share this. You know, when you talk to a cancer, they look at you, you're happy, their face becomes happy. If you're sad, their face becomes, their face expression changes all the time according to where they are and what they hear and what they experience. You know, like I'm excited, I'm telling something to my friend, and I see his face is as excited as I am. Or if I'm sad, their faces change to a sad face. It just, you know, if you put water in any form of shape of anything, you put water in a cup, the water becomes like a cup. You put it in a bottle, the shape of the water becomes the shape of a bottle. Everywhere you put a water, they become the shape of that thing. This is how they are with you. You sit and you talk about your hard times, and they feel it. They really feel your energy. You start saying jokes, or you're happy, they feel that joy. You know, cancer is someone who, when watches the movies, totally gets into the movie, their emotion. They're the first one to cry. They're the first one to laugh if it's real. They really, really feel people. They're the most sensitive of all people, of all signs. They get hurt very easily. Very easily. Because of their sensitivities, they even can get hurt by look. You know, they may say, oh, he didn't look the way, he looked at me differently. Gave me a dirty look, gave me a sad look, or he didn't pay enough attention. Even by look, they get hurt. They get hurt so easily. They could become very pessimistic at times. They're not generally optimistic people. And, you know, it's funny, when we were studying Kabbalistic astrology a long, long time ago, and I was listening to Rabbi Berg, and he was explaining everything about cancer, and all of a sudden we realized that everything that he's saying is negative. And somebody asked Rabbi Berg, is there anything positive about cancer? And he goes, oh, of course, of course. And he called his wife, because his wife was an astrologer. He goes, Karen, is there any positive about cancer? And she yells, they're the greatest cook. They're the greatest chef. And that is very true. Because of their sensitivities, because of their emotion, because of their feeling, they need a lot of attention. Cancer needs a lot of attention. They may not show it, they may not even ask for it, but they need it. They want it. You know, one thing about cancer is very, very amazing. They have a very strong sense of position about everything. The things that are important to cancer, they keep forever. They keep forever. Things that are dear to them, they don't let it go easy. A cancer may be 50 years old, 60 years old, 7 years old. But if he or she had something from childhood that it meant something to them, it was special to them, they will keep it. They don't throw it away. They care very much about the things that they love. You know, if you don't give attention to a cancer, if you don't pay attention to them, they make you feel guilty about not giving them attention. And when they're hurt, it's very, very difficult to get them out of their mood. If they become upset of you, or they become sad, or something bothers them, they stayed in that realm for a long, long time. It's very difficult. For a Gemini, you know, Gemini is sad, 1 minute later, they're out of it. Split second, they could be out of it. You know, we're going to learn about like Libras. Libras, they are upset. You take them for a nice dinner, and they totally forget about everything. With Cancer, no. It's not easy for them to leave where they are. When they are down, God forbid, they bring you down, and they make sure you stay down. They make sure you feel them. They want you to feel them, and it's very hard for them to come out of it. Maybe the most important thing that the people who are born in this month should learn and should understand about themselves is the concept of fear. Fear. Cancer is always full of fear. They always have a fear of something. They are afraid of getting hurt. More than anything else, they're afraid of getting hurt. Fear always follows a Cancer, all their life. They're always worried about something that might happen, that they may lose something. They may lose a friend, God forbid, they may lose a family, they may lose their position, their money, something. They live in fear. And this is something we're going to talk about tonight, because this is one of the biggest tikkun of Cancer. Come from the back, please. There is always fear. When they overcome a fear today, something is going to pop out next minute, and they're going to be in this feeling of fear all the time. You know, the reason that they do not open up, when I mentioned that when you sit with a Cancer, Cancer gets everything out of you, but they do not open themselves up, it's because of the fear that something might happen. They're afraid that they may get hurt if they truly open up to you, if they tell you something, that might come to haunt them. They may smile at you, but they may not necessarily be happy inside. You know, if you need emotional help, Cancer is the best friend. If you are down and you need a shoulder to cry on, somebody to be with, somebody to talk to, Cancer is your best friend. They are there for you emotionally. They do everything for you emotionally. They cry with you. They walk with you. They have so much compassion for your feeling. They have a very strong intuition, very, very strong feeling of intuition. And this is something that the people who are born in this month should make that even a stronger feeling. The intuition is something that could be very, very helpful for a Cancer. They need to listen to their intuition. This is their psychic power. This is their sixth sense. When they feel about something, they should trust that feeling, because that's where the source of information, that's the source of their prophecy is coming from. Their deep feeling of intuition that they get. They have to rely on that. They have to take that very seriously. You know, I said that if you need somebody emotionally supportive, they are there for you. If you need somebody to talk to, they will listen to you. They feel you. They cry with you. They will do everything as far as emotion concerns. But when it comes to, let's say you may need financial support. They're not necessarily that kind of a support. Emotional, yes. Feeling, yes. Financial, not necessarily. Materially, not necessarily. And we understand, tonight we understand why they cannot give you that help. They're not impulsive people. They're not very impulsive people. You remember we talked about Aries, that they are very impulsive. They want something, bam. Or even Geminis, they immediately get it. They immediately make decision. Not Cancer. Cancer is not impulsive. You know, one thing they are very good with, money. Cancers are very, very good businessmen, good entrepreneurs. They know what to do with money. They love money, and they know what to do with money. They're not stingy. Don't think that they're stingy. They're not. They care about money. They know the value of the money, and they know what to do with money. They usually become great people in business, success, entrepreneurs. They are wonderful. For them, money is what makes the game of life interesting. It's what gives them protection. It's what brings them comfortability, protection feeling, something that they can rely on. They are very talented what to do. They know what to do with money. They are people who are very giving. Very giving. They have this motherly feeling for everybody. They want to protect. They want to provide for people around them. They love to nourish people. You know, if one thing Cancer feels for the whole world is to provide food for the whole world. If somebody cares for Africa, for the children, for the poor, Cancer is the first one in the line. They really care for people. Nourishment is a huge factor in the life of a Cancer. You know, if you open a refrigerator of Cancer, the refrigerator is full. They have food for weeks. If you open the pantry, they have the can of food for years to come. You know, I have to share this with you. This is very funny. My mom is a Cancer. Before we run out of anything, she makes sure we have so much of it that would last for years.
Yeah, they make it like a coffee.
I remember back in Iran, you know, back in Iran, those times, things weren't so as comfortable as it is now. You had to provide things like, you know, this is a silly example, like tomato juice. In Iran, you couldn't buy tomato juice way back my time. You had to buy tomato, make the tomato juice. It would make it in bottles and would keep it. We had this underground storage in our home. And we had rice for the Chinese army. We had grain for years to come. We had, you know, buckets of toroshi. You know, we had toroshi for 10 weddings. We had bread for 10 families. We had so much of everything. When she would go shopping, she would come home with a trunk of, she would buy 20 watermelons, 50 pounds of carrots. We had so much of everything. If the when you open the refrigerator door, things would just burst out of it. That's how they are. And they love to feed you. They love to feed you. The first thing they ask, do you want to eat something? You want to make a Cancer happy? Tell them you're hungry. You go to a house of a Cancer, tell them, I'm so hungry, can you feed me something? It's so amazing. I had a friend, and this is so funny, I had a friend that used to come to our home every day for lunch and would call my mom, Mom, what do we have for lunch? And my mom loves this guy. He would go, Mom, he's here every day. He goes, it's okay. That's how they are. Nourishment. Nourishment is the name of a game for Cancer. They love flowers. They love plants. They love a backyard full of fruit trees, vegetables, everything that has to do with nourishment. They do invest in their homes. They care about their homes. Their homes is clean, is neat, is comfortable, and there is everything in it. There is no lack in their home. And you always feel at home with them. When you go to their house, they take care of you. They are the best hosts. They provide things for you. They make sure they give you the best food you ever had, and they give you so much. They love to take care of you. And they keep things forever. You know, they keep things forever. You know, it's funny what we're talking about, but it's that there is a deep understanding behind it. Why they feel the way they feel? They're afraid of lack. They're afraid that it may not be enough. That physicality, that nourishment that brings protection, feeling, security with them, it comes of a place of a lack. And it's very important that we understand this. It again has to do with the fear. Fear of not having. Fear of not having enough. The fear of lack is very, very dominant for a cancer. You know, cancer always leaves less than being totally happy. Because of the fear that they have, because of that lack that they feel, they don't live to reach the highest level of happiness. There is always something that the feeling of fear comes in, the feeling of lack comes in. And another thing about cancer is when they want to tell you something, they don't go straight to tell you. They usually twist things. They don't tell you, like straight. We're gonna see how when we understand Virgos. Virgos are like whatever is in their heart is right in front of you. Cancer, no. Cancer hold things back. They go around. They don't go straight. You know, the crab, which is the animal that represents cancer. Have you noticed how they walk? Cancer walks sideways. They walk like this. They take one step and then they take the second step and they go like, they don't go straight. They go sideways. They don't go straight. It's very, very important for cancer to look good. Their self-presentation is very, very important to them. They care about how they look, how they appear to people. They love to be loved again. Their emotion is much stronger than their body. What do I mean by that? If cancer is worried, they get sick.
Oh my God.
If they're not happy, something physically happens to them. You know, there's this concept of mind over matter is very, very strong to cancer when it comes to their feeling, implementing how they feel into their physical body. A cancer can heal himself or herself, can heal, or vice versa. They could make themselves sick. You know, if they're not happy, they become sick. It's so powerful. Their emotion runs so strong to a point that it totally influences their physical being. If they're happy, they're healthy. If my mom is happy, her blood pressure is perfect. There's nothing wrong. She's like nothing. If she's sad, her blood pressure goes down, her heart doesn't properly work. It's amazing how it works. They're happy, their physical is good. They're not happy, they get sick. And their biggest problem is cold. Usually cancers, they get cold very, very easily. And it's not because they didn't protect themselves physically, they probably fell emotionally somehow. That falling emotionally caused them to get sick, and cold is like, boom, first thing that comes to them. They live in past and they worry about tomorrow. You know, one thing that cancer always says is, what if? What if? What if is a huge, huge sentence of the cancers. They love history. They love things that has to do with what they believe, nationality. You know, if they care about their country, they care about their religion, they care about their people, they care about nations. They become so patriotic. They have great ideas for their countries, for their purposes. They hate to lose the things they love. They hate to lose the things they love. You know, one thing is so amazing is everything that we said, the lack, the fear, everything, all these can become better when there's food around. You know, if cancer is sad or depressed, provide good food, sit down with them, nice food, a glass of wine, you know, all of a sudden things changes. They love food. They care about food a lot. They talk about it. You know, it's so amazing. When I travel with my cancer friends, it's more we talk about what we're going to eat versus what we're going to see. The restaurant is the most important thing. Then the museum. Then the place. It's all about food. Food is the number one thing. They're not necessarily like when I say food, and they're not necessarily overweight. You know, we talked about Tauruses and we said they're very proportional. That doesn't, it's not the same thing with cancers. They're not very, very proportional body-wise. There is always something that is not according to the rest of the body. They love children, as I explained to you. They love children, family. They spoil their kids. They spoil their family. They give so much to their kids. They give so much love, so much food. They do everything in an exaggeration way. Okay. So let's talk about where all this feeling is coming from and what is their tikkun. Why this sign? Why this name? Where is it coming from? Why Abraham called this constellation Sartan? Why such a name? I mean, it seems horrible because of the disease of Sartan. But if you look at the word Sartan in Hebrew, Sartan is it could be distinguished in two parts, Sar and Tan. Sar in Hebrew means to remove. Tan is confusion. So Sartan means a removal of confusion. Everybody got that? Sar means to remove. Tan means confusion. So when Abraham chose this name for this constellation, he's telling us a secret about the energy of this month. He says in the book of Formation, in the Sefer Yetzirah, that in the month of Cancer, the confusion is removed from the world. From the world. Confusion is removed from the world. You know how a cell becomes cancerous, God forbid, in a body, the cell becomes confused. It doesn't properly work the way it's supposed to do. When a cell becomes confused, when it becomes abnormal, when instead of doing what it needs to do, it becomes confused, then that cell, God forbid, becomes a cancerous cell. Now, when I told you about this month, that it's a month of healing, the month of cancer is a month of healing, and especially the Parashat Pinchas, that as I mentioned, that has the power to remove all healings. One of the biggest things of the month of Saratan is the antidote, is the vaccination of the disease of Saratan. Why? Because it removes the energy that exists in this month. It removes the confusion. Now, how does confusion come about in our physical world? How does it work? Now, if we look at the name of the month, which is Tammuz in Hebrew, which I said Tammuz by itself, it really doesn't have a meaning by itself. Tammuz, again, if we break the name Tammuz Kabbalistically, it's Tam and Uz. Tam means finish. Tam is finish. And then there is a Vav and a Zayin. Vav and Zayin is finished in this month. What does that mean? Vav was the letter that created the constellation of Taurus. Do you remember? You remember? Vav was the letter that created the constellation of Taurus. Zayin was the Hebrew letter that created the constellation of Gemini. So Tammuz means the end of Vav and Zayin, the end of Taurus and Gemini. Right after Taurus and Gemini comes what? Cancer. What Abraham is telling us, why did he pick this name, these two names, Tammuz and Sartan? Now, we learned, if you remember, we learned that in the month of Taurus, which is the Vav, we built a vessel, we built a situation. See, first comes the Aries, the light of the Passover comes in. But we don't really earn it until Shavuot. I know I'm talking a little bit technicality, but if you understand it, everything becomes clear of what's going on in the month of Tammuz. The life force of Passover, when it comes, it's only potential. It becomes actual in Shavuot, which is the 6th day of the month of Sivan, of the month of Gemini. So between the potential and the actual, there is a month of Taurus, which is called the vessel. Gemini, if you remember, was the month of light. So, let me put it this way. If you know the light is coming, if you know there is a blessing that is coming to your life, you need to create a vessel for it. You need to create a desire for it. You need to create a home for that light to come in. And if I don't create that vessel, if I don't create that desire, if I don't seek, if I don't desire the light, when the light comes in, I don't have a vessel for it, I don't have the desire for it, what happens? I miss out the chance. So if I don't do what I need to do in the month of Taurus and in the month of Gemini, when comes Tammuz, and these two elements, the Vav and the Zayin, have already passed, they've already gone, what happens? I'm not in control. I'm confused. I don't have the proper vessel to receive the light. Let me put it in a simple term. We said the cancer loves to give. They give too much food, too much love, too much emotion, too much sensitivity. You sit with the cancer all night. You cry, they cry with you. I said that the cancers, they spoil their children, their family, with love. They are so full of love, so full of emotion. When they give so much, and then at the end, they still have fear of not having. The fear always follows them. You remember we talked about it in the class. They always fear of not having. When I said my mom has a whole storage of like a Costco at home, but never felt that she has enough, what does it tell you? There is an extreme. There is an extreme of needing to have, and then the fear of not having enough. What does it tell you? Of not having the balance between the desire and receiving the light. When it says Tammuz, that means the Vav and design finish. That means if you're not ready, if you're not emotionally, spiritually ready for this month, then the confusion kicks in. If you have a test, if you have an exam, and you have not prepared yourself for an exam, when they put the exam in front of you, and all of a sudden you go, oh my God, what is this? You're not prepared. What happens? You become confused. You get burned out. It's a short circuit. That's what happened in the month of Tammuz. If we're not prepared ourselves, if I don't bring balance into my life, if I, a cancer has to understand that it's not the physicality who's going to bring me happiness. It's not having a full refrigerator that makes me feel comfortable. It's the light force that fills me up. It's the light force, it's the spirituality that makes me happy, that gives me the sustenance, the real sustenance. When I don't have balance in giving and receiving, we said cancer needs love, wants love, need to be in love, does everything that you love him. That shows a lack of balance. The fear that they have creates the confusion consciously. And that confusion creates the lack, creates the fear, creates the... I explained that they don't live their life fully with happiness because they're always worried about something. There's always something might happen. I may lose it. I may lose my home, I may lose my friend, I may lose whatever. That lack is from what? Because when the vessel was getting ready, when the light was coming, I didn't grasp it. I didn't prepare myself. I didn't establish it into my consciousness how to receive this light. And when I don't receive the light properly, I don't have it. And the lack kicks in, the fear kicks in. And that lack and that fear creates what Abraham Avinu called cancers, a confusion. A confusion. You see, in the month of Tammuz, in the month of Cancer, the duality is that the confusion is removed if you're aware of it, if you're cautious of it, if you connect to it, or, on the other hand, the confusion can kick in. The duality exists in this month very, very extremely. And that causes the fear and the insecurity that the Cancer feels. Is it clear or is it not clear?
Yeah.
So what helps a Cancer? How can a Cancer help itself? That it's not about the physicality. It's not about the physicality. That the love that I give, and the reason that I give love because I want to get the love back. when they give, when they truly give with all their heart, there is a agenda behind my giving. Because I want to get love back. Because I fear that I don't get enough love back. And that creates that fear, that lack, that I may not get enough back. What about me? But when a Cancer understands that their being, their DNA, their consciousness, it's full of that love already. I have it. It's within me. I don't need to worry about it. We love a Cancer. They are so lovely. I mean, I should look at my Cancer friend and say, what the heck you're worried about? You're amazing. You're full of love. You don't need anything. Why you fall into depression? You have it all. It's the light that makes everything clear for their Cancer. When a Cancer becomes spiritual, when they bring, when we talk about spirituality, I'm not talking about religiously. This is not religious. Spirituality means having balance. Having balance, understanding that there is a higher force in my life that constantly is watching me. The fact that we say the 17th of the Tammuz, the Shekhinah, the female aspect of light, conceals itself. Why it happens in the month of Tammuz? Why it doesn't happen in any other months? To give us a chance to earn it ourselves, to create the balance ourselves. We talked about the concept of restriction. Do you remember the concept of restriction when we talked about the light bulbs, the positive pole and the negative pole? Mm-hmm. If you look at any light bulbs, there are three elements in it. The positive pole, the negative pole, the positive pole that wants to share, wants to give, the negative pole that wants to receive. But between these two components, there is the restriction that it pushes it back. That means when a Cancer wants to give, she or he has to think, why am I giving? Am I giving solely for the sake of giving, or am I giving because I want to get something back? Is my giving purely giving? Is it sharing, or is it giving? Am I sharing because it's the right thing to do and I don't want anything in return? And to understand that I get everything back when I don't expect things to get back. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you give unconditionally, when you give love unconditionally, I said that Cancer, emotionally they're there for you, but if you want something physically, they're not very comfortable by giving you money, let's say. Not that they're stingy. Why they don't give something that is physical to them? Why they don't like to give the money?
Because they won't get it.
Because they're afraid. They're afraid that if they give you the money, they may not have it. What is that fear coming from? Of not having that balanced energy. Of not trusting or having the certainty in the life force of God. So what is the tikkun of Cancer? In one word, certainty. Certainty. I am certain that God will take care of me no matter what do I have at home. No matter how much money I have in my account. No matter how much food I have at home. I am certain in God that He will provide it for me. He will provide the love. He will provide the attention. He will provide the power. He will provide everything that I need. Only if I do my things right. Only if I share just like Him. They say that God, the energy of the life force, doesn't give you more than what you need. If you need a bicycle, He will give you a bicycle. He doesn't give you more than what you need. Why? Because there is balance into the life force. When we say Cancer gives so much, if you and I hate to talk about this, people who, God forbid, they get cancer. If you talk with them, if you look at them before they get cancer, they either give too much, they're such giving people, or they want too much, or they worry too much, or they have fear too much. If you have balance in your life, this confusion doesn't come in. If you have certainty, if you have absolute certainty that you will receive everything that you need, that this life force of God will give you everything that you need, everything. And if I don't see it, if I feel like there is a lack, that's only my stupid ego that's telling me that I'm not getting what I need. Because we simply want things that may or may not be good for me. He always gives me what I need. What I need. Every moment of your life, and it's into details. Every second of your life, wherever you are, whatever you have, is exactly what you need. Now, if I'm not happy with it, what does it tell me? Then I don't have the certainty. I want something that is not good for me, but I'm so stupid and I don't see it. I want something that makes me, that I want, not necessarily what I need. And if I have the certainty, again, that the life force would give me exactly what I need, for whatever reason that I need to go through in my life, whatever that may be, financially, emotionally, relationship, you name it. And I worry about it, that I don't have it. I want it, I don't have it now. I want it now, and I don't have it now. Why, God, why don't you give it to me now? That tells me that I don't have certainty. That means I'm rushing it. The food is not ready. The food is not ready. And if you pay attention, you're not really hungry for that food. You simply want that food. Because that makes you feel better. You know what I'm talking about? When you want something, it's not because you need it, it's because you want it. You want it, it's better for you. It takes the edge off of you. It takes the pressure out of you. You don't really want to earn it. You rather to get it quickly. Bring it to my life. Give it to me now. It's like a little baby who wants to go from first grade to the 6th grade. I want to finish it up. Give it to me now. Love me now. Give me now. And that is the confusion that happens in this month. So all I need to do, if I'm a cancer, or if I have a cancer friend, to inject certainty. Inject certainty. You know, if you have certainty that this Shabbat of Pinchas will give me the power of healing that I want. And when I say the power of healing, I'm not necessarily talking about physical healing. I'm talking about emotional healing, psychological healing. If I truly have certainty, then I will receive it. Then I will receive it. And when we talk about cancer, I'm not talking about only people who are born in this month. We're all under the influence of this month. You know, it's so funny. Tonight is the full moon of Cancer. This roller coaster of emotion, of wanting it, having it, fear, not having it, it's in maximum tonight. That feeling is in maximum tonight. So whatever fear that you may have, tonight it reaches its maximum level tonight. You're right there. And in order for you to connect to the totality of the light, which is Sartan, remove all of the confusion, is what? Certainty. I have it all. If you think you don't have it, I'm stupid. I'm simply not getting it. If you totally understand that you have everything that you need, for your growth, for who you can be, for your potential, and then you'll be happy. Then you will be absolutely happy. Absolute happiness comes from absolute certainty. When I know that the light force of God, just like you put the note that the God is behind the door, I love that. You know, Julia put this quote on our site. One of the things that we learn in the class is that the God is behind the door. And somebody may ask, why the God is behind the door? Why don't you come in? Why don't you come in, God? Well, open the door. You have to open the door. You have to ask for him to come in. Ask for him to come in. Sometimes we get so stuck in our stupid ego that we forget to ask him to come in. You know, we think that asking is, I don't know. And when I ask him, when I truly ask him, he comes in. And he comes in at the right time. You know, for 3 weeks now, I had a question of God. Believe me. I had a question from God. And I'm sharing this personally. And for 3 weeks, and I said, what is it? What is it? Tell me the answer. Tell me the answer. And the blessing of this class is because I was forced to study again for this week's energy. And boy, the answer came in so beautifully. When you need it, when you truly need it. The last 3 weeks that I wanted the answer, I wasn't quite ready for it. I wasn't quite ready for the answer. I wanted the answer because it would have made my life easier. And I thought it would make my life easier. But today I realized the answer came in at the right time. How stupid I was that I was so impatient, waiting for the answer, waiting for the right one to come in, waiting for the right moment to come in. Certainty. Certainty is the name of the game for this one.